Hey everyone, welcome back to Ganai's Football News. And what a Sunday it has been in the Premier League. Absolute drama from start to finish. Arsenal are now just one win away from lifting the Premier League title after a tense, nerve-shredding victory over West Ham United. And according to ESPN, it was a match that could genuinely go down as one of the most pivotal moments in the club's recent history. Here's how it went down. Arsenal appeared to have the 3 points wrapped up when deep into injury time. The 94th minute, West Ham thought they had snatched a dramatic equalizer. The stadium erupted. West Ham fans were celebrating. And then, VAR stepped in. The goal was disallowed after a video review, and Arsenal held on to win. That result puts the Gunners 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, with the title race now firmly in their hands. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta was full of praise for the officials afterward. ESPN reports he described the VAR call as brave, saying decisions like that have the power to alter the course of Arsenal's history. Strong words from the manager, and you can tell just how much this one meant. Former England and Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney also weighed in. With BBC Sport reporting, he thought the video assistant referee did a, quote, really good job in making the right call. So there is backing from the football community for the officials here. But not everyone is happy. And that brings us to the other side of this story. Now, as you can imagine, West Ham are absolutely livid. ESPN is reporting that both captain Jarrod Bowen and manager Nuno Espirito Santo have come out swinging at the officials following the disallowed goal. Bowen, who is also trying to keep West Ham in the Premier League, because yes, they are currently in the relegation zone, did not hold back. He and his manager both questioned the consistency of refereeing decisions in the top flight, essentially asking, why is this call being made here, in this moment? And look, you can understand the frustration. When you're in the bottom three, fighting for survival, and a 94th minute equalizer against one of the title challengers gets chalked off by VAR, that stings. That really stings. ESPN's VAR review also weighed in on whether the officials got it right. And while the debate will continue, the result stands. Arsenal go 5 clear. West Ham stay in the drop zone. The contrast could not be more stark. This is a massive week coming up for the bottom of the table. Stay tuned. Now, let's move to Spain. And this story is one that hits very differently. It's not just about football. It's about heart, courage, and the complexity of human emotion. Barcelona are La Liga champions. They clinched the title in the most dramatic fashion possible by beating arch-rivals Real Madrid in El Clásico. But the story goes far beyond the match itself. ESPN is reporting that Barcelona head coach Hansi Flick learned of the death of his father on the very same day his team were playing for the title. He went on to guide his side to one of the biggest wins of his career, and then described it afterward as simply a tough day. I mean, can you imagine the emotional weight of that moment? Winning La Liga in a Clásico while grieving the loss of your father. Our thoughts go out to Hansi Flick and his family at this incredibly difficult time. On the football side, BBC Sport has a detailed breakdown of just how Flick has transformed this Barcelona squad. He's guided them to back-to-back La Liga titles now, implementing a new, aggressive style of play that has made them the dominant force in Spanish football once again. Barcelona fans will be absolutely over the moon tonight, even as they hold their manager close in his moment of personal pain. And there's another subplot from that incredible Clásico title win that we have to talk about, and it involves a certain Marcus Rashford. ESPN is reporting that the Manchester United outcast, currently on loan at Barcelona, scored on the night Barcelona beat Real Madrid and clinched the La Liga title. And he was absolutely thrilled about it, calling it, in his own words, the perfect way to end. Now, Rashford has had a fascinating journey this season. Cast aside at Manchester United, he arrived at Barcelona looking to rebuild his career and his confidence. And what a statement night to do it, scoring in El Clásico on a title-winning evening. ESPN is also reporting that Rashford has expressed a desire to stay at Barcelona permanently if it's possible. He's clearly fallen in love with the club and the city, and who could blame him after a night like that? This is going to be one of the most interesting transfer sagas of the summer. Does Barcelona make it permanent? Does Manchester United have any say? Watch this space. All right. Let's shift focus to some concerning World Cup news, and this one is bad timing for Spain fans. ESPN is reporting that Athletic Club forward Nico Williams was forced off the pitch before halftime during his side's 1-0 home defeat to Valencia on Sunday. He had to be substituted, and there are now real concerns about his fitness ahead of this summer's World Cup. Nico Williams, of course, was one of the stars of Spain's Euro 2024 triumph, and he's considered one of the most exciting young wingers in world football right now. Any injury that threatens his participation at a home World Cup, being played across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, would be a massive blow for the Spaniards. Details on the exact nature of the injury are still being assessed, but ESPN's World Cup injury tracker is already flagging multiple key players whose fitness is under scrutiny ahead of the tournament. This one will be watched very closely over the coming days. Spain manager Luis de la Fuente will be sweating on this one, that's for sure. Time for the transfer desk, and there are some spicy rumors flying around this Sunday. ESPN's Transfer Talk column is reporting that both Real Madrid and Bayern Munich have identified Manchester City defender Joško Gvardiol as a top summer target. The Croatian international has been one of the best left-sided defenders in the Premier League, and it seems the big European clubs are circling. With City potentially looking at a squad rebuild, this is a story that could explode over the coming weeks. On top of that, we've already touched on Marcus Rashford wanting to stay at Barcelona, but ESPN is also reporting that Chelsea striker João Pedro could be heading to the new camp this summer. That would be a huge move for the Brazilian, and it raises questions about Barcelona's attacking plans going into next season, especially with the Rashford situation still unresolved. And over in Scotland, BBC Sport is reporting a transfer tussle developing north of the border. Hearts and Celtic are both competing to sign midfielder Leonard, which could be a really important piece of business for both clubs in their battle for Scottish supremacy. Lots of moving parts in the transfer market as we approach the summer window. We'll keep you updated on all of it. Now here's a feel-good story for you, and it involves a familiar face from the Premier League era. ESPN is reporting that Cesc Fabregas, the legendary former Arsenal and Chelsea midfielder who is now managing Como in Serie A, has guided the club to European football for the very first time. A 1-0 win over Hellas Verona sealed the historic achievement. Think about what Fabregas has done here. He took over a club that had been outside the top flight of Italian football for decades, helped them get promoted, stabilized them in Serie A, and now, in what feels like an extraordinarily short space of time, he's brought European football to Lake Como. This is genuinely one of the most inspiring stories in European football this season. Fabregas is proving himself to be a seriously talented young manager, and based on this trajectory, don't be surprised if bigger clubs come calling before too long. For now, though, Como fans are absolutely celebrating, and rightly so. Let's round things out with a couple more stories before we wrap up today. First, to Scotland. BBC Sport is raving about a moment of absolute brilliance from Celtic's Maeda, who scored a stunning overhead kick to seal a 3-1 derby win over rivals Rangers in the Old Firm. The goal is being called genius across social media, and honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, go look it up after this video. That kind of skill in an Old Firm match? Incredible. And over in the NWSL, ESPN is reporting some worrying news about Washington Spirit superstar Trinity Rodman. She was substituted early in the second half of Sunday's match against Seattle Reign FC after needing on-field treatment from the medical team. No word yet on the severity of the issue, but any injury concern involving Rodman, one of the biggest names in women's football globally, is going to attract major attention. We'll be monitoring this one closely, and we'll bring you updates as they come. All right, everyone. That is a wrap on today's show. What a day in world football. Arsenal on the verge of history, Barça champions after the most emotional of nights, and drama everywhere you look. If you enjoyed today's video, please smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments. Are Arsenal going to win the title? Let us know. And make sure you subscribe to Ganai's Football News so you never miss a story. We're here every day bringing you the latest from the beautiful game. See you next time.